Good morning, all of you. This is Dr. Machindra Varpe, Professor and Head, Department of English, Arts, Commerce and Science College, Sonai. I welcome to this webinar. Today we have organized this webinar on motivational session for students and teachers of Institute by Innovation Ambassador. Today, Dr. Sandeep Khedkar is to guide us on this topic. Dr. Sandeep Khedkar has 29 years of teaching experience at UG and PG level. He is also a recognized uh, research guide and also innovation ambassador. Today, he is going to guide us today on this topic. I request Dr. Sandeep Khedkar to guide us.
Good morning, friends. I'm Dr. Sandeep Khedkar. On the outset, I would like to extend my sense of gratitude to the Ministry of Education, Government of India, for nominating me as Innovation Ambassador. As well, I would like to thank Mula Education Society Sonai and Arts, Commerce and Science College Sonai for giving me this opportunity to deliver a speech on what is innovation. Innovation has become a buzzword today. It is talked about, it is studied about, it is explored about everywhere in academia. So it becomes very important to know what is innovation first, because innovation is the first step, and that leads slowly to the next step, that may be ideation. Further, it leads to prototype. Further, it leads to startup, and it may go to an enterprise. So from that point of view, we'll have to study what is innovation first, because it is said that well begun is a good done. That is, if something begins right, then it leads to the right direction. So from that point of view, I have tried to explore this word. There are so many words that you can use as a synonyms for innovation. And what are they? See, I have enlisted some of them here. It is a kind of a creation. You go on creating something new. That is what is innovation. You go on inventing something. You go on discovering something. There is a little bit difference between invention and discovering. That is, discover means you try to find out the thing which is already there in existence. You simply point it out. And invention means you try to bring into reality something that was not present there. So in that way, you can say that America was there and Columbus discovered the America. Means America was there, he simply showed you the route to America. And you can say that there can be an invention of aeroplane. So like that, there are certain words like regain, you formulate something, you explicate something, you probe something, you search and you research. Also you speculate, right? You go on thinking about certain thing again and again. So that kind of activity is very important in innovation. You have to do a kind of a scrutiny, you have to explore something, you have to retrieve something, whatever that you have found, you have to examine it, you have to investigate, you have to recover something. And the most important thing is interpretation. You have to interpret certain ideas, certain things that are existence in the world. When you interpret it rightly, then you can innovate. You have to identify the problem. Many times we try to identify the problem from our perspective. So your own perspective is not as much important as much are the perspective of other people, because what is the problem of other people, that is most important. And if you know that, then you can find out a good thing. You have to analyze whatever that you have so far found out. You have to analyze it, you have to make a deep study of it, you have to think, you have to diagnose, you have to find out certain measures on them, you have to find. And even a simple thing like reading is also an innovation. So from reading the face, we can know that what are the problems of the people, and thereupon you can go on finding the solution to them. So this is a common process of finding the solutions. Origin of this word innovation, if you take into consideration, you shall notice that it is a Latin word which means innovare, and innovare means to renew, right? To renew whatever is there, because the God has made this beautiful world. The world is there, and you try to make it even more beautiful. So even though we say that we go on finding process, a new process which were not there in existence, or we say that we find a service which was not there in existence, or we found a product that was not there, but the God has made the whole thing. It is only our mind, our thinking ability, with the help of which we have to find it out where it is and how it is connected. So you have to just jot down the points, right? And then the figure comes in front of you. Innovation also means to improve, to replace a process, a product, or a service. So if some bank services are there, but every day you will find that new services are coming. LIC services are there, but you will find that every year you have new LIC policies. It is because they go on inventing the problems of other people, and with the help of these, they form new policies, and that's why it is a kind of replacing the original thing, the thing that is in existence there. Now, one more thing that I would like you to look at, that it is a continuous process. That is, if you innovate something, you should not think that it is a full stop. Beyond that, there is nothing. You should not think like that. Because when you innovate something, there is always a comma. Because you have to find out still better, still best thing, process and service, and which is always there. It is applicable only in present time. This is also one more thing, that when you innovate something, you invent something, you find out something, it is applicable only for the present time. It cannot be applicable to the past, because it is no more to evaluate that whatever that you have discovered, found out. Then the future time offers no guarantee for whatever that you have invented, because every day you will find something new thing goes on coming. So there is a very beautiful Hindi film song, Pal Pal Badal Rahi Hai Jindagi. So every moment you find that the the world is changing, we are changing, people are changing, and so since we are changing, the process and the product and services, they are bound to change. And it is the duty of innovator, a researcher, to find the most suitable service, the most suitable product, and the most suitable process to suit it with the habits of the people. Now, there are certain definitions of innovation. See, Barack Obama, the president of the former president of USA, he gave this definition. Innovation is the creation of something that improves the way we live our lives. So, this is with the help of which we improve our life, right? It is a kind of, uh, say, it is a kind of a thing that gives you power to change the life around you. Then, Jeff Dunn says, innovation is something fresh. Freshness should be there. New, it must be a new thing, it must be original, it can be an improved thing, because improved thing is always new and original. That creates value, right? It should have a value. And you tell me that when a thing will get a value, the thing will get value only the other people, they will appreciate it, and the appreciation will come only when they will find that some problem of their lives that you have solved. So from their point of view, it is very important. That's why I said that innovation should be always from the point of view of others. Then Baxter Healthcare says innovation is any idea that adds value, right? It's almost like the second definition. And there is one anonymous definition, and this is the most beautiful definition. Innovation is the commercialization of creativity. God has gifted us with creativity. All of us have different kinds of creativity. And only thing is that some of us are able to reach our creativity and some are not, right? So creativity is very important. So from that point of view, if you think that what is creativity? Creativity is an act of turning new and imaginative ideas into reality. When we sleep at night, thousands of dreams they come in our mind, right? We go on thinking, and we observe so many dreams, but those ideas, those dreams, we cannot bring them into reality unless and you until materialize your dreams, it cannot become creativity. So this is the first criterion of creativity. Creativity is characterized by the ability to perceive the world in new ways. Perception, all of us have perception, and you will notice that during the childhood days means when we were children, at that time we had more creativity because we used to pursue the world in a very different way. And that's why childlike quality should be there. We should become a child, and we should try to ask these questions repeatedly to us. There should have been a great urge in our mind, that why, when, where. If you go on asking this question to every problem of human life, you come very close to creativity. That takes you to innovation, to find hidden patterns between seemingly unrelated phenomenon. So seemingly unrelated means what? On the surface level you will find that these things are not related. For an example, if I say that red rose is like a black stone, you will say that there is no similarity. But if you go on using your brain, if you go on, as I said, creativity involves thinking, rethinking, and thereby generating solutions. So if you go on using your mind, your power of thinking, then you reach and find out those similarities. For that, what you need is only the power of thinking, and continue thinking, rethinking again for the next still better solution, and continue this cycle. So there is no end to this process, there is no end. It is a continuous process. Once you innovate something, when you find out something, always there is space, always there is room to find out a still more beautiful thing. So this is our effort of innovators to make beautiful this word. The God has created this beautiful word, and it is our duty to make this word even more beautiful. Now, what is critical thinking? Critical thinking is very closely associated with creative thinking, creativity. And creativity is in return very closely associated with innovation, inventions, and other things. That's why it is very important to know critically thinking means what? What do we mean by critical thinking? Critical thinking is a reasonable, reflective thinking that is focused on deciding what to believe or do. It's a reflective thinking. Reflection. What is reflection? If you stand in front of a mirror, you find your reflection there in the mirror without change. But this kind of critical thinking, where you have to add something of your own in the reflection, and then it becomes critical thinking, right? You see this beautiful word. There are two types of words: the word that you see outside, the physical word, and there is one more world which is in existence in your mind, and that world is even larger to this physical world, because there you go on finding different things, right? So from that point of view, you have to find out that what is there, right? Creativity that we have discussed, it is a critical thinking about your thinking. Richard Paul says that it is thinking about your thinking. There are thousands of thoughts, they come on coming in your mind, and almost 80% of thoughts, they are useless, they are not important by any way. So you have to sort it out, that which are the positive thoughts and which are the important thoughts that may lead to innovation, that may give you something. Active, persistent, and careful consideration of a belief, as John Dewey says, that it is a kind of a consideration, careful consideration. Then Fisher says critical thinking is skilled and active interpretation. So this is very important, that though only human being is such an animal who learns many things after life, otherwise see, other than human beings, you will find that all those animals, they learn whatever they know by birth. They learn everything, all the skills, their speaking skill or whatever skills that they have, they learn by birth. But only the human being is such an animal that he learns many things after his birth. That's why all of us have the opportunity. Even today we have not invented anything, but tomorrow you can definitely do it, because once you learn, once you know perfectly that what is critical thinking, what is creativity, and what is innovation, the day will come that you are going to become a good skilled person, and then you will go on inventing and finding solutions to the problems of human life. Critical thinking is skilled active interpretation, right? Interpretation, you have to interpret, and there are many solutions which are available in interpretation only. You have to analyze that why such thing is happening, what should be there. If you go on using your brain, then you find out the solutions. E- Evaluation of observations, information, and argumentation. So this is the definition given by Fisher. Then what are the skills that they underlie critical thinking? So there are some skills that I have enumerated over here. Recognize problem. First of all, you have to recognize the problem, because there should have been thousands of problems, and we are not there to solve all the problems of the our friends. That's why we have to concentrate on certain aspect of life, and for that you have to recognize the problem. Find workable means for meeting those problems. For an example, you know that what is the problem today. The rates of petrol, they are going up, right? So this is the problem, but you must be able to find out the workable solution. You will say that I will bring a wings of eagle and I will tie it to my hand and I will start flying. Will it be a reasonable solution? Workable means, so that we have to think about. To gather information, so whatever that we want to invent, it is always better to know what other people they have already studied, made research on that. So gathering information should be there. Recognize unstated assumptions and values, right? We should not overestimate our findings or our solutions, right? We should recognize the assumptions which are very workable. To comprehend and use language with accuracy, clarity, and discrimination, because the time comes when you need to communicate your innovation to other people. At that time you must be able to use your language very accurately. And then you should interpret the data that you have collected, appraise evidence and evaluate statements, recognize the existence of logical relationships between propositions, to draw warranted conclusions, to put to test the generalization and conclusions at which one arrives, to reconstruct one's pattern of belief on the basis of wider experience, to render accurate judgments. The last step is you have to give the judgments. That is the most important stage about specific things and qualities in everyday life. So I would like to draw conclusion from whatever that I have talked with you. What is the relation among the creativity, critical thinking, and innovation? So there should be some order. And as far as my study goes, I feel that the order in which it happens, it is critical thinking leads to creativity. Creativity in return leads to innovation. Unless you think, how can you think critically? This is my question. First of all, you will have to develop this habit of thinking, right? So unless you think, how can you think critically? And unless you critically think, how can you lead to creativity? And unless you turn some imaginative ideas into reality, how can you lead to innovation? So all these things are very closely interrelated. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to me to speculate on innovation. Thank you very much.